This is a hydrangea that I brought up from Cornwall to Edinburgh 35 years ago. Every year it's covered with sky blue flowers, and I'm going to show you how you can achieve a fabulous display like this.
Hello. Hydrangeas are some of my favourite shrubs, and they need to be treated in a special way to get the best out of them. It's now early April, and as you can see, they're well in leaf, but they still have last year's flowers on them. And this is deliberate because keeping the flower heads on them actually helps protect them through the winter. But now's the time to take the flower heads off and to prune them in such a way that we'll get lots of flowers this summer. What it's important to know is that these big leaf buds here contain this year's flowers. So I'm going to cut off the dead flowers. I'm going to cut down to a good pair of leaves. And I'm trying to reduce the size of the plant a bit because in the summer, if it rains and these big flower heads get very wet and heavy, everything sags and it puts quite a strain on the plant. But I don't want to cut off these big leaf buds because they contain this year's flowers. So as you can see, I'm still keeping good leaf buds here, and they will flower this summer. Now while I'm doing this, I'm also looking to reduce the number of shoots as well. I can remove up to 1/3 of these branches, and over a period of years, the whole thing then will renew. So I'm looking for the ones that are old, maybe weak looking, and I'm going to take them right down to the ground. Now I've got one here. As you can see, it's quite an old one. It's ready to come out. And it leaves space for the new branches to come. And I'm also checking to make sure that there are no branches that are overlapping, that are branching over each other, because they will rub and they will damage themselves. That's where infection can get in, and that's where I can harm the plant. And I'm just going to work my way all over the bush, taking out some of the older branches, cutting back to good strong leaf buds with the other branches, and you'll see what it looks like when I've finished. So as you can see, I've taken quite a lot off here. I've taken these branches down to a pair of good strong leaf buds which contain the flowers. I've taken out quite a lot of old branches, and I'll show you the pile in a minute. And already there are some little flower buds in here, so in a month or two there should be a good show. Now the only tool I used was my secateurs, sharp secateurs, because none of the branches are particularly thick and need anything bigger. And you can see here just how much I've taken off the bush. Some of the branches are quite thick, quite old. There's the dead heads. And if I lift the camera, there is the bush.
Of course, pruning correctly and at the right time won't control flower colour, and I'm frequently asked about that. Hydrangeas do best in acidic soil, and it's the low pH levels that keep mophead and lacecap hydrangeas on the blue side. You can get kits from the garden centre to test the pH levels in your garden soil, and then you can add ericaceous compost or a variety of additives to reduce the pH levels. My garden soil is fairly neutral, but I planted my blue hydrangeas with plenty of ericaceous compost 35 years ago, and they've stayed completely blue. I hear that coffee grounds help to increase acidity, so maybe that's worth a try.